has announced or had announced that they are making the AI associate and the AI specialist exams free until December of 2025. Then I decided, you know what? I better make this for you guys as a resource to help you on your way to passing. And one thing I do want to get out of the way, or a couple things I want to get out of the way. One is that 93% of you guys are not subscribed to my channel. So if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, it is totally free. And it would really help me understand that you like this kind of content and you want to see more. Second is that I do have a full length course that everyone who has taken it and used all of the resources has passed on their first try. If they failed, and then they've taken the course, then they have passed with flying colors. So, a little plug for me. But let's get into this free mini course. This is not going to cover everything that's on the exam, but it will cover a lot of the basics that are on the exam in kind of a quick succession, so then you can understand a little bit more. And if you need to dive deeper, my full-length course is available on Udemy Business as well as on my website, salesforceupskill.com. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So I'm going to go over the exam guide pretty quickly. This is going to be 40 multiple choice questions. So it's going to be a choose one out of three. And it's going to be an hour and 10 minutes of time allotted to complete the exam. Personally, I thought that was plenty of time to read through all the questions and to be able to pass on my first try. Now, the passing score is about 65%. So I'm not sure what the math evens out to be there, but it's less than 30 and probably a little bit more than like 25. I would assume probably around 25, 26 questions that you'd have to get correct. Registration is free until December of 2025. And any retakes that you will need to take, the retake fee is $50. So depending on where you're at, it will be there. But the first take is free and the retake fee is cheaper than what it was prior to them making it free. You can take this proctored online or on site. No references, no prerequisites. Again, it's a choose one out of three. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Once you understand the information, then you are good to go. It wasn't too in the weeds of like, hey, this is exactly how you implement this into Salesforce. It was more of a, let's understand the basics of AI and how to talk about AI and the different principles around AI. So there's a little hint for you guys there. Exam outline. So AI fundamentals at 17%, AI capabilities in CRM at 8%, ethical considerations of AI, 39%. So that was a lot. Data for AI, that is also a good chunk there. So essentially what this boils down and what it means, and we'll cover a little bit of this in this mini course, is that you need to know what the different types of AI are within Salesforce. Understand how this can be used within Salesforce is going to be the capabilities in CRM, ethical considerations. So bias and transparency are also good, as well as Salesforce's trusted AI principles in given scenarios. So essentially it's like, hey, here's a bunch of vocabulary words that we want you to understand. And then how do you apply it in your scenarios? If you look at those, that'll help you a lot. And then data for AI, it'll talk about data quality and how to keep your data clean and how to keep it free from bias and what bias means when it comes to unclean data. And then, of course, it's your exam code of conduct. So essentially, don't give out any questions, don't give any answers. If you put any exam questions in the comments, I will be deleting those comments. And I don't want to get my certifications taken away. I don't want you to get your certifications taken away. I don't want for you to be prohibited from taking certifications. Please don't use dumps. It's not worth it. You need to know the information for your future jobs or for your current job. And it's not worth it. It's worth it to maintain your integrity and to be able to have a Salesforce job. That is a very nice job than to use dumps and not know what you're talking about. And it'll be shown in that job that you don't know what you're talking about. All right, that's my spiel. Currently, there are no maintenance required for this certification, although I do check back every release on my certifications personally to see if there's any updates. I know that the business analyst certification recently just released a maintenance module. I think it had been 2 years since they released that certification. So I was able to go in. It was very, very quick that I was able to do that. I listened to it using a a Chrome plugin that I have up here that reads Trailhead to me at a quicker pace. And so I was able to like do dishes and then get those done. That's going to be the exam outline. So now I kind of just want to cover a couple of the things that I noticed were bigger things on this exam for the mini course. Essentially, a lot of the exam comes down to classifying AI into a few different things. One of these is going to be the two different types of AI that Salesforce typically uses within their tools and their models. So this is going to be predictive AI as well as generative AI. I really hate defining things by the words that they are. So this is going to sound weird, but predictive AI predicts outcomes based upon different models, and generative AI generates new content based upon what you feed it. So let's talk a little bit about that. So models is going to be you give the AI a bunch of models with different things. A model is essentially a group of data that points to any certain outcome. So what that means, let's say we have 10 opportunities that are both closed won, closed lost. And based upon those 10 opportunities, we want the predictive AI to predict the likelihood of opportunity number 11 to be able to be closed won and what the statistics are on that as far as it being won or lost at the different stages of it. And now, of course, the more the 11th opportunity gets in line with the closed one, the higher the probability will be that that one is going to be closed one. And if it moves towards closed lost, then of course that will move the prediction down to closed lost. So things can move around based upon new pieces of data. This can become really tricky if you don't keep your data clean. So let's take those same 10 opportunities, but let's say that 5 of them were for the same company. And so you've got 5 for a whole one company, and then you have 5 opportunities that are from 5 different companies. Your data is going to be skewed towards the one company that has 5 opportunities versus the 5 companies that have 5 different opportunities. So in your model, it might be something to be aware of if you're running that, or you may want to exclude 4 of those opportunities that came from that one company. So then the model can work and make sure that it's not skewing towards that one company. So now we talked a little bit about predictive AI. Let's go into generative AI. Think about ChatGPT as a piece of generative AI or Copilot, things where you are possibly asking questions or you are having it generate a piece of art or like a LinkedIn post. An example, a couple days ago, or like 2-3 weeks ago, our family was sick. And so I wanted to ask ChatGPT to come up with a list of items that I could do to reset the house after being sick. I really wanted to get this list done so then I could spend a day where my toddler was at preschool and my baby was napping to get the house nice and tidy and nice and clean and reset after we had this long sickness for a very long time. So it came up with this list of about 30 different items. That was actually really helpful of things that I needed to purchase, to restock on, things that would be helpful if we cleaned to make sure that we are not spreading any more sickness in our house for a little bit. But that's going to be generative AI. Salesforce really harps on the differences between these two, especially when it comes to the fundamentals of AI, that section in Salesforce. And then the predictive model also becomes really important when it comes to keeping your data clean, which is the last section on the exam. All right, so now we are actually in Salesforce and in a Salesforce org that has the different AI tools enabled. So Salesforce has made it a little difficult. They keep changing where you can access these different AI orgs, but they keep adding different features and taking away different features. So I will try and link the most up-to-date link that I can for you to be able to get the org. I had to find it through a Trailhead badge, and then I was able to make it through that Trailhead badge. And even then, it took like a day for me to be able to do it. So hopefully this walkthrough will help you out with that. So there's 2 different things that I want to cover within this mini course. And you don't necessarily need to know like the in-depth ways that you are going in and you are using the different types of AI. You don't need to create a predictive model to be able to pass the exam. You don't need to do a prompt builder to do this. But the two main things I wanted to cover here is using Prompt Builder and how to get that going and how to kind of access that, as well as using possible duplicates, which is one of the tools that you can use to help keep your data clean. So let's go ahead and let's go jump into setup from here. All right, and I am going to type in prompt builder. So now I do believe that I have turned on the different AI settings. You might need to look for Einstein, maybe Einstein setup, and then you might need to toggle this on. So that's something, if you have created this org and you are looking for all these things, make sure that you have things toggled on as far as setup goes. And I'm trying to scan any of these other ones. I'm not sure if there are any other ones currently, but Salesforce could definitely change that. So I'm just seeing that you'd want to turn on that Einstein setup. Let's go ahead and jump into Prompt Builder again here. There are different videos that you can watch. I have a couple videos on my channel, but let's go ahead and go over here to New Prompt. So there's a couple different types of prompts that we can do. We could do field generation, we can do flex, we can do record summary, we could do sales emails. Now Salesforce, of course, in their embedded tools, they're going to give you help sections where you can look through and go through these. If you are concerned about the exam, you can go through all these different things and you can look and see what they do. I will say, yeah, Prompt Builder, while it might be mentioned on the exam, knowing the intricacies of it, it won't be too important. But I will say that it's nice to know how this works. So we're going to do a record summary. Let's do a opportunity summary. And for the amount of time that I've worked on Salesforce, I can never spell opportunity right the first time. So I'm just going to say summary of the opportunity. Awesome. Let's go ahead and choose our object. Now, of course, it will be on the opportunity. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I clicked next, and it's going to take me to the prompt builder. So there's a couple of different things that we can do and a couple of different things I want to point out here. This is going to be your prompt workspace, and it's giving you a lot of different information. But essentially what you're going to do is you are going to take different fields, or what we're going to do in this example is we're going to take different fields from the opportunity and say, hey, please give me a summary of this opportunity, or of the opportunity, with the name, the stage, the amount, any other things that you might want to grab off the opportunity, and you're going to put those merge fields in. Then it's going to give you a response. You can preview it here before you go ahead and save that and put it live. So what we can do, so we'll do that a little bit later, but first what we want to do is we want to do the different models. You can use a standard one provided by Prompt Builder, or you can create a custom model, and you'll have to import those. I'm just going to use the standard one just because it's out of ease and I don't want to have to go through the process of doing that just for this example when we don't necessarily need to. We can use a bunch of different types of AI. Generative AI models. And I will say that Salesforce is constantly updating this. Like, the amount of ones that they've added since I have started using this is a lot. I think there were like 2 or 3, and now there's a whole list. You can use GPT-4, you can use Azure OpenAI, there's a different one that's depreciated in Azure, Azure OpenAI, whatever, however you want to use it. If you have a preferred one, I'm just going to use the 3.5 turbo just because it's quick. So now let's go ahead and let's see. Please summarize the opportunity in a few, of course, cannot spell opportunity, sentences. Please summarize the opportunity in a few sentences using So I'm just going to type this out, which merge fields I want to do, and then I will enter in the merge field later. So let's say the opportunity name. I know that's misspelt. The opportunity stage. Let's say uh, I don't necessarily want to use the account name because it should be in the opportunity. The op amount and the let's hop into an opportunity and then I can tell you which other ones I want to use. All opportunities. That should give me some. Okay, almost there. And let's use the lead source. Lead source. All right, so now that we have kind of our basic prompt that we're going to use, let's go ahead. So we've got 4 different merge fields. As I like to call them merge fields, they also call them resources. It's very similar to how a merge field would work on other things. Like if you are creating surveys, you're going to use merge fields. If you're making other stuff within Salesforce, they're also called merge fields. Any templates, those are merge fields. That's why I'm calling them merge fields. So let's go ahead. I'm going to type in the resource. So we're going to the opportunity. So first what we're going to do is we're going to do the name. So I'm going to search for name. Here we go. Input opportunity name. So I'm going to get rid of opportunity name here. There we go. Replace that. Now we're going to go with opportunity stage. So let's go back here to opportunity stage. There we go. The amount. Got to go back into the opportunity there. Amount's going to be the first one. All right. And finally, let's use the lead source. Awesome. All right. So now that we have all of those resources or merge fields, as I've been calling them, enabled and set up, let's go ahead and search for, let's do this Burlington Textiles. Awesome. Okay, so this hopefully should work. Let's go ahead and save and preview. This has been saved. Now it's working on the preview. Awesome. It has created the response. Now, I could have enter in a few more pieces of information, or I could have had it expand a little bit, but it looks like it just took the opportunity and it said the opportunity involving these different pieces of information. So the opportunity name, the stage name, the opportunity amount, and whatnot. It just took the information and created a literal sentence about it in the same form. Now, if I were to create another prompt that said, hey, please do this in a few paragraphs, it would create a few paragraphs. But that is kind of how you use that. Now, if you want to, you can go ahead and activate that and you can using Salesforce and you can add it to your pages. Awesome. Let's go ahead now and go to duplicates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go I want to go over to leads. It's actually what I want to do. And I want to go into just about any lead. It looks like we have no leads. So let's go dive into setup and we're going to start working on a possible duplicate role. And yeah, let's do duplicate roles and we'll then do a matching role. So this is one of the things that is kind of important for the exam. It goes over one of the final sections about data quality. Other things that are important when you are talking about data quality is making sure that your data is as complete as can be, using the different tools like the data import wizard, third-party tools, validation rules, those types of things that are just good for general data quality that you should be doing anyways, but become really important when you're using models, so then your models aren't skewed one way or another. We as humans like to take that data and say, oh, it's not filled out, so let's place a little more emphasis on here or a little less emphasis on here. And so we as humans can take those things into consideration and we can account for that. Whereas AI models can not account for that. So let's go ahead and jump into a new rule. Let's do it for lead. because this one is pretty impactful, because oftentimes you're getting leads from either a convention, you're getting them from LinkedIn, you're getting them from purchase lists. And so leads have a high probability of being duplicates because of general business and whatnot. So if we can head off duplicates at the beginning and make sure that we aren't creating them, or if we are creating them, that they are being snuffed out and they are being merged, then we can make sure that our data is clean, and that going forward, the data will be clean, because of course lead is the beginning of the whole sales process. So let's say just lead matching rule. Awesome. Anything that's red needs to be filled out. So record level security, I'm going to bypass sharing roles. You can choose to enforce sharing rules or bypass sharing rules. So depending on your security and who can see what within your org, you may or may not be able to see duplicates. Personally, this is a developer org, and so I can choose what I want to share and what I don't want to share. I'm the only person that's in here. So I'm going to bypass sharing rules. So any lead I will be able to see with a duplicate rule. Let's go ahead, specify what happens when a user tries to save a duplicate record. So action on create, we can alert and report, but also allow. So what that will do is that both on creating a new lead record, on editing a new lead record, it will say, hey, this could be a possible duplicate. So it'll alert them, it'll allow you to report it. You can also save it. So if you decide, hey, these are not actually duplicates, then you'll be able to save that. I am going to say possible duplicate detected. Okay, so we are going to compare leads with leads. Let's go ahead and create a new matching rule. So I'm going to save this duplicate rule. So lead rules and matching rules work in tandem. So the matching rule will determine what fields are going to be determined to be matching. So let's see, I'm going to go with, let's say, what's something that is similar? So I'm going to do phone. And one thing that happens with leads here is that there's like phone, and then there's another phone on here. So I need to remember that it's just the phone. And let's make that this matching method is going to be exact. So if it has the same exact 10 numbers in the same sequence, then it will match it as a duplicate. Now, phone numbers tend to be very unique and often are not shared. So that's important. Fuzzy would mean like, hey, these are very somewhat similar. It might be one or two numbers off, but these could possibly be duplicates. But because phone numbers happen to be so exact, I don't want to do that. I don't want to match blank fields. Now, this is just kind of the basic logic. If we wanted to add more logic, we could there. I'm going to save this. Awesome. And now I'm going to activate this matching rule. Awesome. They'll send an email to me. Now let's go back to that duplicate rule. So we need to make sure that both the matching rule and the duplicate rules are there. Well, activated. Awesome. Let's go into the duplicate rule and make sure that we have filled everything out appropriately. All right, so here we could also add any conditions. I am not, because we already had that matching rule active. We could add another rule. We could add any conditions like that must be met to make this go. Like if it was created after a certain date or if it came from a certain lead source, that could be good. But I just want to keep this very general so we're not duplicating any data. I'm going to click save there. And let's go ahead and activate. Make sure that it's active. Here we go. Yep, check mark active. Awesome. So let's go into our leads, and I want to create a couple of leads. So I just want to make sure that they've got the same names. Jane, Doe. And YouTube, if you are watching this, this is not personal information. This is sample data. I had a YouTube video taken down once because I used Jane Doe and then a sequence of 0 phone numbers, and it got reported to YouTube, and I was pretty sad. Awesome. So let's go ahead and click save. Oh, nope, I need to add a company. I'm just going to say ABC company. Make it very generic. Awesome. Let's go ahead and click save and new. And we're going to create the same one. Jane Doe, company ABC. And then the phone, I have to make sure because it was on the phone and the lead has both phone and mobile. And because we said, hey, just match up the phone, then let's go ahead and do it the same field. I find it a little frustrating that they have both the phone and the mobile, but that's something that you can change within your own org when you're looking at those matching and duplicate roles, just something to be aware of. So all zeros formatted all the same way. All right, let's go ahead and click save. Oh, and it says, hey, we've got, looks like you're an existing record. Make sure that to check any potential duplicates. So here we can also view those duplicates and we can see that, hey, Jane Doe does have another lead that is available to use. That could be her, it could not be her. You need to double check, but these duplicate and matching rules really help a lot with data quality. And the earlier in the lead process that you can get data quality off on the right foot, the better. So that's why we started with leads. All right. Now, finally, I kind of want to end off on Salesforce's trusted AI principles. There are a couple different ones of these that you'll need to go over a couple of different ones and understand what they mean and be able to identify them when you're given an example. But they're pretty harmless. As long as you know what they mean and how they apply to AI, you should be able to pass. So they're going to be responsible, accountable, transparent, empowering, and inclusive. I mean, just kind of read through an article or look through how Salesforce has been using these in AI, and it should be a pretty easy pass. Another one is going to be the ethical AI maturity model. That was pretty important on there, and understanding what all of these mean. It felt so much like a vocabulary exam and using a vocabulary in a sentence and identifying which trusted AI principle or which part of the ethical maturity model are they trying to have you identify. It wasn't really like, hey, this is how we create nodes and modules and how you do deep learning and you scrape the dark web. It's nothing like that. Personally, I think if you are able to understand some of these more overarching principles, you should do very well and get a good pass underneath your belt. Yeah, that's where I'm going to leave you off. I hope that you enjoyed this video, this mini course, and it was helpful. If it was, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helped me out. Again, 93% of you guys who watch my videos are not subscribed. So that would really help me out and help me understand that you want more helpful content like this. If you subscribe on this video, I will be able to see that that's where you came from, and it lets me know what you guys like. Yeah, you can connect with me on LinkedIn and Twitter, or X as they call it these days, at Emily Call MBA. Thank you so much. I'll catch you guys in the next one.